Welcome to the Bandano Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. Stephanie White is scared to be kicked out of the WNBA sorority. She's scared not to be invited to all the social gatherings that happen outside the league, and that's why every time she finds herself with a microphone in front of her, she's downplaying what Caitlin Clark does, and she's big-upping the rest of the league, whether it's the players on her own team, whether it's the players that aren't even in the league anymore, whether it's players on the other team, and whether it's a player that came to Indiana, robbed this organization blind, played like trash at every turn, then skipped town to go party it up in Phoenix with her wife. Before we get into that, Stephanie White, I'm tired of you. The ratings for this past Sunday's game, Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever, no Caitlin Clark, no Angel Reese, has finally been revealed. Let's get right into it. The first time these two teams played this season, they did 2.7 million viewers. The first time these two teams played opening weekend, WNBA, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, head-to-head yet again. 2.7 million viewers. The second time, without Caitlin Clark, but a primetime game on CBS, 1.9 million viewers. We go from 2.7, 800,000 people fall off to 1.9, and now we get to our most recent game between these two teams, 1.5 million average viewers as far as ABC is concerned, as far as the WNBA is concerned. Time to do backflips, time to throw a party. It's the 6th most watched regular season game on ABC ever, 4th most watched regular season game on ABC this season to date. 1.5 average viewers is up 17% versus last year's ABC regular season average. WNBA across ESPN platforms up 6% from last season. So let's get this straight, folks. Let's get this straight. They went from 2.7 with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese being the featured matchup all the way down to 1.5. 1.2 million people ready for this WNBA, ready for this. 1.2 million people said, I'm getting tired of the product. 1.2 million people said, I don't know any of these players on the court. 1.2 million people said, if it's not Caitlin Clark, I am not watching. 1.2 million people said, all right, if it's not Caitlin Clark, at least I know somebody on the Chicago Sky, but Angel Reese isn't even. 1.2 million people fell off the face of the earth without having Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese going head to head. Folks, we could take that 1.2, put them on ABC, and that's going to do another. ABC airs another of its most watched WNBA games ever. 1.5 million viewers for this most recent game. You guys ready for this? Y'all know I'm the ratings guy, right? The first time these two teams faced off last year, did 1.5. You're telling me we're back to square one? The second time, 2.25. The third time, 2.3 million. The fourth time, 1.6 million. You got to go all the way back to the first time these two teams played last year to get a number as low as the one that we saw this past Sunday. Now I say this, and I am still steadfast in this. Anything over 750,000 on these ABCs, ESPN, CBS games, that's a win, right? WNBA has to be happy about that. I'm only here to bring you some clarity when we're talking about the numbers. Oh, 1.5 is good, but what about last time they played? Okay, but what about the time before that they played? Okay, well, how does that stack up to last year's numbers? Folks, last year on Ion, they did 1.6 million. Last year on Ion, these two teams did 1.6 million. And this year, no Clark, no Angel Reese, 1.5. I know that's a positive number, but let's look at the trend. It's a downward trend. Sorry to break it to you. It's a downward trend. Let's get right into Steph Phony White Lies, the head coach of the Indiana Fever. She's scared, folks. She is scared to be kicked out of the WNBA sorority. She is scared. She is scared, so she conforms. She is petrified of walking off of the path that has been laid out in front of her by the WNBA. That's why everything she says is so robotic, is so run-of-the-mill, and it is so anti-ruffle anybody's feathers other than Caitlin Clark's. Let's take a listen and see what Stephanie White had to say.
DB's obviously coming back here for the first time. How have you seen her fit in with Phoenix and what's like the game plan against her?
I think she's fit in perfectly with Phoenix. I mean, she does a really good job. You know, her and AT plays.
Wait a second. You think she fits in perfectly with Phoenix? Have you been watching the Phoenix Mercury play? How do you know that she fits in perfectly with Phoenix, unless you've been watching? Oh, because I coached them over there in Connecticut. Nope, doesn't work like that. New supporting cast, new supporting crew, different head coach, different assistant coaches. So how do you know she fits in perfectly? Interesting.
So well together. And she does a really good job of adding a different dimension with her ability to be that stretch four, to complement, and her and Sachi being able to play on the floor at the same time with AT. You know, she's comfortable there. She's comfortable in that system. It's going to be different to game plan against her. Her and AT both, really, honestly. After having been on the sideline with them for a couple of years, it's going to be different to game plan against her. But I'm glad that she's happy, and I'm glad that she's found her spot.
Stephanie White spent more time big upping DB in this 38-second clip than every press conference interview you go to. She spends 7 seconds maximum speaking highly of Caitlin Clark. 7 seconds maximum before she pivots to something else, before she pivots and talks to a new player. Stephanie White is scared. The more I listen to her speak, Trojan horse, false bill of goods, a liar, a shady character, a snake oil salesman. Cheryl Reeve was asked on Emma Messiman not picking the Minnesota Lynx, and you know what she says? She made the wrong choice. That's it. That's it. She doesn't go on a 38-second soliloquy speaking about blah 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 blah. You guys ever grow up, this 90s babies, you guys might know. You ever play addicting games? Remember the driver's ed game? And the driving instructor, every time you get close to a car or you... That's Stephanie White at this point. That's what I'm hearing from Stephanie White. I'm just hearing a bunch of... Because I'm just tired of listening to the lies that Stephanie White says. I think she fits in perfectly with Phoenix. Her and AT play so well together. Ooh, I can't say how I really feel. If I'm upset, I can't say, I think she fits in good. Next question. No, that'd be easy, right? But no, let me speak about her. Let me shine her shoes. Let me really put her over. Let me bend down on my knee. Let me kiss her ass a little bit. Stephanie White speaks highly of players on opposing teams. She speaks more highly of players on opposing teams than the players on her own team. Stephanie White is absolutely pathetic. I might need to do a deep dive to hear Christy Sides talk about players on opposing teams. I might need to do a deep dive and listen and be like, did Christy Sides spend minutes and minutes and minutes talking about other people's players during press conferences? Because Stephanie White is a real piece of work. A real piece of work. DeWanna Bonner was asked about this not too long ago. I wouldn't do anything differently. I think my journey is my journey, and I'm going to accept that. It carried me to where I am now in Phoenix, and it happened that way for a reason. Yeah, I wouldn't do anything different either. Hey, Stephanie, you might not come to Indiana, rob you guys blind, get my paycheck, sit out, and go to Phoenix. Stephanie said, oh yeah, DB, that's a great idea. That's actually what I'm doing. That's actually what I'm doing. I mean, I got to stay here a couple years, but I'm not putting all my effort into this. I'm not putting all my energy into this. This is a hobby for me. I come, I show up to work, I go home, and I'm watching movies the rest of the night. Because if Stephanie White actually watched film and actually game planned, sometimes this team wouldn't look like how it looked. right? With Caitlin Clark, without Caitlin Clark. Because Stephanie White actually put in time after work. Overtime. I know, crazy concept here in the W. I get it. It's a crazy concept. But Stephanie White just continues to show how sad she is. However, Bonner left because they did not feel adjusted to the system. Additionally, she refuted claims that her upset at being taken off the bench was the basis for her departure. Bonner said this: "That wasn't ever the issue. That's never been me," Bonner said. "I have no problems coming off the bench. I have never been that player. I don't feel like I have that reputation." Yeah, you have no problem coming off the bench when you're playing with your wife. Yeah. You got no problem coming off the bench when you're playing with your boo thing. Yeah. But when Lexi Hull is taking your spot, oh, you got a problem with that. Oh, when you're shooting 25%, oh, you got a problem with that. It's okay, Bonner. It's okay. Bonner speaking on maybe being booed, she says, "I'm just going to go out and do my job. They have every right to go out and do what they want to do. As far as the fans are concerned, I'm just going to go out and compete with my team." I'll tell you this right now. If this was a real sports league with real fans, diehard fans, DB is getting booed brutally. Brutally. This Fever organization has lost so much goodwill that I wouldn't be surprised if they give her a tribute video for her 9 games that she played with us. And now, making her return to Indiana after a solid 9 games, DeWanna Bonner, and the crowd goes crazy. Meanwhile, if this was Philly, meanwhile, if this was New York, meanwhile, if this was LA, she is getting booed out of the building. Every time she touches the ball, booed out of the building. Indiana Fever, fans, this is your opportunity to express your displeasure, not only with DB leaving, but with how the organization allowed her to leave. Getting nothing for her. Not a 2nd round pick, not a 12th man, nothing. This is your time to voice your displeasure. So are you, like the front office, like the coach, going to roll over, bend over backwards, allow yourself to get walked on? Or are you going to show some spine, show some backbone, and boo this lady out the gym? You guys let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate all of the support. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel. That would mean so much to me. We'll see you next time, and as always, take it easy.